Hello and welcome to Abap Coding for Beginners with Tricks and Examples. And this is Learning Abap Workbench. In this lecture, you will learn to use Abap Workbench in detail. After this course, you will be able to change your settings and change the color of your editor easily. Also, you will have the full control of Abap Workbench and keyword help. Now, let's go to our transaction SEAT. This is Abap Development Workbench. It will be our main screen. Here you can select packages, programs, function groups, etc. to change, delete, or create. Now, let's start creating with a program. We always start with Z to create a program. And I'll give it my username and test. That will be our test program. And I press enter. It asks you to create the object. Press yes. We don't want the top include. Now, this is the settings for your program. Just leave it as it is. It will be an executable program, but you can change it. While in creation, you can choose status, applications, authorization groups for authorization checks. If you have logical database to bind, you can select it here. And you can select your selection screen. Editor lock locks the editor for other users. And fixed point arithmetic for arithmetic calculations. Unicode checks are active and we are not using the variant. Just save. So it asks us a package. We are not binding it to a package, so we are using local objects just for test purposes. Now our first program has been created. First thing to do, you need to go to utilities and settings, and here you will find front end editor. It is a new editor and I prefer to use this one. I press OK. Now we are in the new editor of Abap Workbench. Here, Ctrl F1 to make it active. Ctrl F3 to activate our code. Now it says active. Before we do it, it was inactive. So Ctrl F1 again to close the edit. Now let's go to utilities, settings again. I'll tell some things about the screen. Here you say upper lowercase conversion in display mode. It's about all display things, but this downwards compression line length 72 is important. It draws a line in the editor. You see a red line. Your text cannot pass this line in printer mode. You see, this is important for some reports because if you are using in internal table for your ALV report, this 72 character limit is very important. If you write more than that, your program will take dump. So at the start, you can just draw this line for coding. I'll activate my code again. Let's go to our settings again. We draw the line. This pretty printer settings is for arranging our codes to see them more clearly. You will see after I press this pretty printer button, when we write the code, you will see that in detail. You can choose convert uppercase or lowercase. I prefer keyword uppercases. Here debugging is very important. You can create breakpoints for debug issues, but when creating external debugging, you need to write the username here. So if you are catching some other user's action, you need to write its username here. But it can be stay like that right now. So it's okay. Now let's see these buttons. This is for activation, Control F3. This is direct processing or execute. We have nothing to execute right now, just report name. This is various list to search our program if it is used somewhere else. This actually display object lists. It is opening and closing the lists, but it's not working here. We can use it in SE38 to open this menu in right here. It just opens and closes it, but it doesn't work here, as I said before. Let me show you. Let's go to SE38, change our program, press this button. You see, it's here. It's the same screen. Okay. Now let's write something. And I write a variable. Let's say py, and I double click it. It says this object doesn't exist. Do you want to create this object? You can press yes. I want the global data, and it just adds our variable, but it doesn't have a data type. Just let's give it a data type. And it gives us error when we try to activate because this statement means nothing to it. We activate our code. Now, even though you declared a variable, sometimes Abap editor asks you to create the object, even though it's already there. So this is an important trick that you need to know about, because we have pvar here, and we can set something to pvar. And when we double click it, it goes to our data declaration. But again, I'm telling you, when you double click it, sometimes it cannot find it and asks you to create it. In this time, you need to do this. Go to utilities and update navigation index. This will regenerate the index of the program, and when you double click it, then it will go to your data declaration. So this is the editor.